Okay, so welcome back. We are doing another episode of Jokes on Me because this is the never ending game. So, last time we read these 4 books. So now they get to be made transparent. And for having read all of these books through all of these episodes, you would think we would be further along than we are, but we're not. So, let's get out the cards and let's do our first draw. We just drew a 2. I'm hoping that we don't draw another 2. So, here we go. Oh, it's a 3. Ugh. Do all 3 prompts. Bailey, I officially do not love this game. Also, here's the stack of cards that we've drawn, and here's the ones we haven't drawn. They are getting closer and closer to being the same number. We have played this game so many times. Okay, so we have to do all 3 prompts. So the first one says first on Goodreads, the next one is a random color, and the last one is a book club, which is really nice because I am in the middle of a book club book right now, but I'm going to move this forward to first on Goodreads first. And I am right here. I'm still wanting to read one of these books. So whichever one of these is the oldest on my TBR or the first one that comes up on my storygraph TBR. And it's been a really long time since I've even gone through my TBR and marked the books that I've read. So we might have some books to get off of here. Okay, I DNF'd Codename Helene, so I'm going to remove this book. I read Fresh Brewed Murder, so I'm going to mark that as read. Grown, that is the next one. So I will now be reading Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. All right, we are kicking off this one. Let me copy it and get it over here. So that is going to be the first on Goodreads. Then we have a random color. So let me go pick that. Okay, so here here is a wheel of colors. So let's see what color we have. I realize I'm blocking it. Deep purple. Wow, my favorite color. Okay, so let's go over here. What do we have that looks deep purple? It might have to be the only one left because that has that deep purple in the title. However, Puzzled has deep purple in her shirt. And it's definitely going to be faster to read. The only one left might actually be blue and not purple. So I'm going to go with Puzzled. That is one of my NetGalley graphic novels about living with OCD. So that will be after Grown. And then the last one is a book club book. And I know I said I was reading a book club book, but it's not in this list. And I really want to do off of this list. Okay, so because I stole her game and I'm trying to make it my own anyway, I'm just going to do a random number of these books, and whichever one it lands on is the one I'm going to read for the book club book. Okay, there are 44 books up here. Pick a number 1 to 44. You can't hear it, but it says 22. Okay, 19, 20, 21, 22. The Shape of Thunder. Okay, so these are the 3 books that I'm going to read. I will check in as I finish each one of them. So I'll be back to check in next when I finish reading Grown. I mean, we've almost finished the whole top row of this thing. I cannot believe I drew a 3. These cards are not nice sometimes. Anyway, I'll be back to check in. Okay, good morning. Wow, if you have read these books, I feel like you were like, oh, this is not a good way to go into your evening. And you would be right. So I'm not finishing Grown. And I don't really want to call it an actual DNF because DNFs are usually because I'm not interested or I can't get into it or I don't like the characters or I don't like the writing. And this one is literally just this topic is too heavy for me to read. I read 30% of it last night before I went to bed, and I stopped reading it at 1 o'clock in the morning. I did not go to sleep until 4 in the morning because I could not get my brain to stop focusing on the things that were happening in this book. It is absolutely disgusting, the amount of child grooming and just horribleness that was happening to this girl. And I feel like it is such an important book, especially for teenage girls who find themselves maybe in a situation with an older guy. So it's anyway, I just can't. So Grown is done. I'm removing it from my storygraph, and I'm not giving it a rating because I don't want to take anything away from like the writing of the thing. Since I didn't finish it, I know that for some reason it was listed as a mystery because when there is a murder and we don't know who did it. But I'm going to say that is not the point of this book. This book is not about the murder. This book is about the little girl, is what it's about. Okay. And I said little girl. She's 17 years old, which to me is still a little girl. I'm sorry if you're 17. I have a 17-year-old in my house. I know that you're very responsible and I know that you're very mature, but I'm sorry, you are not an adult. And okay. Anyway, then I moved straight into Puzzled because, as I said, I stayed up for 3 more hours after I stopped Grown to try to get my brain on something else. And I was like, let me read Puzzled. Puzzled is a graphic novel about a guy who has OCD. And there are so many things in this book that I loved so much. Number one, if you have a person in your life who has OCD, maybe they would get something out of this book. It's written by an author who has OCD. This is his story of being a little kid and going from, I think we meet him when he's like 10 years old or something like that. And we follow him till now. He even put the afterword at the end. He was, when he wrote this, I guess he was like in his early 30s. So we follow him as he discovers what OCD is. But at the beginning, oh my gosh, some of the things that he was talking about feeling, I just was like, ooh, I have felt a lot of those same things. I do not have OCD. However, I do have some compulsive tendencies, and the self-talk that's in here and the intrusive thoughts that are in here, I can get very hooked on those, especially with my PTSD diagnosis, and where it stems from and what it comes from really kind of throws me into a compulsion spiral sometimes. But that's definitely not OCD. But there were a lot of things in here that I was like, oh yeah, I have been there. I know what that feels like when you just need it to be right. You need it to feel right. So, needless to say, reading Puzzled didn't really spring me out of this mindset that I was in the middle of the night last night. And I tried multiple times to just put my phone down and lay down and go to sleep. Well, my brain doesn't do well with that on a normal night. Last night, every time I put my phone down, my brain was like, oh, let's think about what happened in Grown. Or let's think about what life must have been like for that boy that didn't know he had OCD. Let's think about all those things. So then I was like, well, let's look at The Shape of Thunder. Y'all, I read the synopsis of The Shape of Thunder, and I was like, oh, I can't do this. I cannot do this right now. The Shape of Thunder is about 2 girls who were best friends. And when they are 11 years old, one of them's brother, I don't know this for sure. This is what I've gotten from the synopsis. One of the girls, her brother, goes to school or some other location and shoots people and kills the other one's sister. I got that from the synopsis, and the girls are apparently, they haven't spoken since the event, and apparently they're going to try to work together to create time travel so that they can go back in time and stop the brother from killing anybody. I'm like, no, that's not what my brain needs right now. So I just switched over to YouTube. I watched YouTube videos. I went to Instagram and I've tried to watch some reels. Anyway, I eventually at 4:00 this morning, I was like, okay, I think we've calmed down enough. I'm in a good enough headspace where I can try to go to sleep. So I have not had a ton of sleep today. I am going to eat me some breakfast. I did start listening to The Shape of Thunder while I was making my food. And so I've only listened to about 15 or 20 minutes of it, but I think it's going to be okay. I was worried again about the heaviness and all of that stuff, but I think it's going to end up being okay. So, all of that to say, I have finished Grown, what I'm reading of it. I've finished Puzzled, and I'm going to be starting The Shape of Thunder. So, it's not going to take me long to read. It's a middle grade. And so, hopefully, I'll be back today to draw a new card and maybe move ourselves a little bit further along this board because, wow, I am getting a lot of books read, but wow, at the amount of time it has taken to do this board. Okay, so I'm back. I finished The Shape of Thunder, and these are all the cards that I've already drawn. I literally just looked through here to see how many 7s I had and how many 3s I had. And I've gotten 2 7s and 2 3s, but I've gotten 3 kings so far. So there's only one more king in the deck. So anyway, not that any of that matters because I'm sure, I mean, I wouldn't mind if I got a 7, but anyway, I'm probably going to get, I don't know, like a 4, and I'll have to go back for it. I don't know why I just said that or put that into the world. That was awful. The Shape of Thunder was so good. And I realized I've read a Jasmine Warga book before, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together till the very end when I was reading the author's note. So, based on what I had already read with Grown and Puzzled, I was very worried about getting into this book because, of course, it deals with heavier topics, as I just told you about. But I was really pleasantly surprised. We were dealing with the girls who are affected by the school shooting that happened. And we learn later as we go through, her brother killed 2 students, a teacher, and himself. So 4 people total died that day. And it's really just a story about the girls dealing with grief. It's got some things in there with the families of the perpetrator that I've just never thought about before. And I mean, we always want to just look at the victims. And honestly, I was probably just one of those people that was like, well, there must be something going on in their family. Like, just without, I mean, I don't know. That's a very small-minded view that I had. But anyway, thinking about it, I've just never taken the time, I guess, to really think about how it would affect those families as well. So, hopefully, because I'm getting ready to go get in the bed. So, I'm going to shuffle again. By the way, I just found a king on the bottom. So, I'm definitely going to shuffle and shuffle. Not that it matters. A king means I get to buy a book. I don't know why I'm concerned about the king. But now, it's multiple. I've done multiple shuffles, so it's hidden in there somewhere. Anyway, all of that to say, I need something lighthearted and uplifting and preferably like a non-using my brain romance. Here we go. Oh, a queen. That is exactly the same as a king. I'm not moving anywhere and I get to buy a book. So I'm probably just going to get Sex, Murder, and a Double Latte. That sounds like that would be fun. Like, that's one of my buy books. And I think that might be the only one that is on the to buy list. Oh, I get to take this off. I get to take this off. And I get to take this off. Wow, I got to scooch some stuff down. But Sex, Murder, and a Double Latte is definitely what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the next card. I have to move on this board, y'all. I have to move somewhere on this board. Oh, also Bailey has started playing this round on her channel. So if you're not watching Jokes on Me, if you're not watching Bailey's channel, she's playing Jokes on Me, her game. So go check her out. Y'all, it is the king. It is the other king. What is wrong? I don't even have another book on this list that I need to buy. You know what, though? The book that's coming out after Don't Fear the Reaper, I am going to buy it. So maybe I'll do this like it's meant to be done and I'll buy a book, but I don't necessarily have to read it. Today, it's coming out in like 5 days. And I've already pre-ordered it. So technically, I'm going to be buying it in 5 days. Okay. You know what? It's my game. I'm counting it. Oh, Death and the Conjurer too. Y'all, I've not updated this. I need to scoosh everything down. Okay, there we go. It's all scooshed down. So I've drawn 2 more cards. Oh, no. Let me move the book over here. I am going to read Sex, Murder, and a Double Latte tonight. But I just wanted to see what was next. But that's probably going to be, I don't know. That cannot end this video by moving forward 3 spaces, and that's it. I'm going to shuffle one more time. I'm going to draw this card, and I'm going I'm going to be very happy with whatever I get. Are we ready? Oh, it's a 6. So 2 prompts. Okay, but 1, 2, 3, NetGalley. I get to read a NetGalley book. So I'm going to pick a graphic novel because those can be read faster. And so I'm going to let me get The Ghost Keeper. I've been wanting to read this one anyway that I just got on, I was just approved for it. So I'm going to read The Ghost Keeper for this. And then I get to go 1, 2, 3 more. Most popular on my list over here. Most popular. Okay, I'm going to pick out a few of them that I think are probably pretty popular, and then I will check their Goodreads to see which one has the most reviews. That's the best way I know to do it. Okay, so the Riley Sager book, the only one left, I knew would be very popular, and it has 219,000 ratings. That one is going to be scary to me. 219. So I'm going to check Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Oh, 236,000. So it does have more. I knew that one was really popular. I don't even know. Let me try Nosferatu on here. I doubt that it has more than... No, it's only got 128. So Uprooted. I'll pick another one. I'm looking. I just don't see anything. Oh, Ruta Sepetys is very popular. But maybe not 236,000. Let me look that one up too. No, she only has 66,000. I'm a little worried about looking up The Becoming by Nora Roberts. Oh, wow. Okay. No, it does not have as many as I was expecting. Okay, so I've looked up quite a few of them. We're just going to go with Uprooted by Naomi Novik, which is nice because I think my hold just came off at the library. So let me copy it, and it'll be nice to just read a fantasy. A romance. Okay, so I have my next 3 books. I don't know if we're going to get to them all. We're going to get to them all in this video, and then this video might just be a little bit long, but I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I had to move at some point on this board, and we moved 6 spaces, plus the 3 that we had already moved, so that's nice. Anyway, I'm going to go read Sex, Murder, and a Double Latte, and I will come back tomorrow at some point and tell you what I thought of it. We're going to make ourselves get around this board. And we've been all the way over to here somewhere. And then we had to jump back up here. So, just ridiculous. Anyway, my cards are put away. I'm going to go get my book and start reading. Okay, so I finished Sex, Murder, and a Double Latte. I just realized there's no reason for me to be taking up the whole screen. I finished it. I thought that it would have been a lot better had the main character who was telling us a story and being stalked or being, anyway, the one whose life was on the line. I did not like her. She was actually doing things that were just wrong. And I was like, why are you doing this without, I don't know, framing people for things and accusing people of things? And when she decided that somebody was guilty, she made them guilty. Anyway, I did not like her very much at all, but she's the main character, and this is the beginning of a series. So I'm going to go ahead and put book 2 on my storygraph TBR, and then when I get around to it, if I like it, then I'll continue and consider it a series that I'm reading. If I read book 2 and I'm still I really don't like her, then I'm going to not do it. Anyway, I'm about to start The Ghost Keeper, which is the NetGalley book that I picked. And again, it's a graphic novel. It has about 188 pages in it or something like that. That's all I know about it. I'm assuming that there's going to be ghosts and that they're going to be trying to keep them in some kind of way. That's all I got. I'll be back. Okay, I finished Ghost Keeper. Let me get myself over here out of the way so we can kind of see what's happening. I just finished The Ghost Keeper, which it's 138 graphic novel pages. So I kind of expected that to go really quickly. No, it has taken me almost all day to read this book. Now, granted, I didn't have all day to just sit and read, but in between the bits and pieces of things that I've been doing, I've been reading this book, and it's taken me all day. So I am going to be reading Uprooted tonight, and then that's going to be the end of it. So that's where we will end this. I did make it further around the board at least, but I'll come back probably in the morning or sometime tomorrow and tell you guys about Uprooted. I started listening to it. That's all that I know. I am about 15% of the way through up with it right at the beginning of chapter 5. If you have read this book, I am at the part where she is about to go off on her own. So, or she has already done that. She's just done that. So that's where I am in this one. And like I said, I will update you tomorrow sometime when I finish Uprooted, and that'll be the end of number 6. I did not expect to be able to play so many of these episodes of Jokes on Me. I kind of thought that I would be finished by now. I was thinking it would be like 3 episodes, and now I'm already at 6. Oh, and where, you might ask, are the other books? They're all right here. I moved them over and kind of hid them. Oh, you can't see because my face is in the way. I moved them over and hid them there. So anyway, they're there, and they're going to stay there so that when we finish it, once I finish these, I'll put these, gray them out and move them over when I finish this video. But then we can see everything at the end where we've made it through the whole thing. So that is it. Oh, no, I didn't even talk about Ghost Keeper. Okay, first of all, this book is maybe not middle grade like I thought it was. I mean, okay, so it is very in your face with the themes. Like, it tells you what the themes are, practically says them right out loud, which is what makes me feel like it is more geared toward middle graders. However, there are some trigger warnings at the front, or some cautious things at the front to maybe be aware of. And there are children who have died in here. There are stories of near-death experiences. There's definitely like body mutilation things in here as well. So it's not just a cute little middle grade book about ghosts. So just be aware of that before you read it. I did get it as an ARC for a NetGalley, so it's not out yet, but when it is, I think it would be a good one to pick up if you've got an older middle grade kid. They might be interested in it, especially if they like graphic novels. So anyway, we just follow this guy who is the ghost keeper. We meet him at the very beginning. He's been called to a house to get the ghost out. This lady is done, and she's really over the ghost being in her house. So we see him try to guide these ghosts on to the next world. And then we learn that the door to the next world has been made unusable because someone has stolen the key. And so that is what we're doing, trying to solve that mystery and get the key. Actually, they know who took it right at the beginning. They're just trying to get it back the whole time. So anyway, we'll finish Uprooted, and then I'll come back and chat with you about that, and we will wrap up episode number 6. I guess on to episode number 7. Okay, I finished Uprooted. I described it to my son like this. I said I liked the first 30%. I didn't enjoy the next 50%. Then I liked the 10% from 80 to 90. And then I did not like the last 10% from 90 to 100. That is a great breakdown of how I felt about this book. For being the most popular one on my list, like the one with the most ratings, I never even went to look and see what the rating was. And I'm probably going to end up giving it 3 to 3.5 stars. I liked so many elements of the actual plot, like the original makeup of the plot and what we learned about the characters and kind of their dynamic and what's going on with each of them in their own way. Well, not each, all of them actually, because we do not get multiple POVs in a way, but we do get what's going on with multiple people in like a third person bird's eye view. So also, if you just watched this clip right after the last clip, I have a fresh red hair do. That's not going to last very long. But anyway, if it looks extra red, that's why. Okay, second thing. I'm done with this episode. I am about to be starting the Aurelium readathon that's happening in April. I'm also doing Battle of the Bands, and so all of those things are about to be starting, and I'm not going to be able to read as many of my already on the TBR things as I want to, or as I have been. So these are still going to come out through the end of the month. You're still going to get all the jokes on me. But the Aurelium specific ones, I'm going to have an Aurelium vlog that goes up every Monday of April to just tell how the class schedule is going and what's happening around there. And otherwise, you'll just get these as I finish making them. So I am finished with this Jokes on Me. I am still not very far around the board, but that's okay. We're going to keep going. We will eventually finish this game. Maybe, I hope. And that is it. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know about the books below that you have read, that I read, or tell me what you've been reading this week and what your plans are for April, or maybe something new that you read that you really loved. That is it. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.